All right, good morning everybody. Welcome to another round of Coffee and Questions. And today is part 2, and we're going to talk about that piston skull Gatling gun project that I got myself into. And like I said, I did it because it's something I've never done before, and I'm going to discuss the errors that I make along the way. So in the last video we made the head, we carved it out, and the mistake I made is I realized I was using the wrong kind of bits to do the carving, and yeah, they worked, but they worked very poorly because they were not really meant for cutting aluminum. And there are specific burrs, I believe they're single flute burrs, and some of the comments from some of the followers below and actually told me what they would buy, for cutting, or shaping aluminum, and I went ahead and I took their advice. All right, grab your coffee. Okay, so let's take a look at the progress so far. Here we did this in the first video. And I just made this stand right here, okay, and I've got these Harbor Freight magnets holding it up. And I'm just using whatever I have laying around the shop, and it's been taking me a few minutes, to figure things out is, what can I do, because I don't have all of the right kind of scrap that I want. So I used tube steel, and I made the gun holder. Then I had some valves. Justin brought them down when he came down. And I put those in down here, and I tack welded them on the very feet. And I'll pan down and I'll show you that here in just a sec. So the reason why I did that, let me pan down. Let me see if I can zoom in. Okay, so there I zoomed down on one of them. You can see where I put that valve in, and I just tack welded it. Okay, let's zoom back. Let me talk to you about the rest of this. So the next thing I think I want to do is I have to create the handles for the Gatling gun, and then I have to put the arms on the piston man. Now what I did is I took a horseshoe and I cut it in half, and I banged on it with a hammer here in the vise, and I bent it a little bit, so that way when I do this like this, or however I do this, he's like holding the handles of the Gatling gun. So, and then I just added welds, and then I went over this with my 4.5-inch angle grinder with about a 60 grit wheel. I cleaned everything up, and so it's pretty clean here, and let's work on that next, and I'll be back with you in a minute and let you know how we're doing, or what we're doing. Okay, so what you're looking at here is I got both angle grinders out, and I've got a cutoff wheel on one and a sanding flap disc on the other. Now I took a piece of sheet metal and I drew a big teardrop on it, and then I cut it out with a jigsaw, and now I have it in the vise here, and you can see where all the cut marks are, and it looks real crummy and everything. And let me pan around a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to use that flap wheel to clean it up, shape it, and make it look good. And I'll get that rust and stuff off of there too. Here's a little bit more of a close-up view. Let's see, here we go. Let me see how this looks, and yeah. Okay, so you'll see where all the rust is. You'll see how the edges look all gnarly and everything, but between these two tools, or at least one tool by changing, the discs, these are the only two I'm going to use. Cutoff wheel, and I'm using an 80 grit sanding flap wheel. So I'll show you here in just a sec. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up. Alright, it kind of quit on me here, the camera, so I'm going to do a voiceover. I'm pointing down at what I cleaned up, and I rounded off the edges everywhere. And I put it over a round piece of pipe that's secured in my vise, and I'm going to position it about in the middle. Well, not right now, but there's a round pipe that I used, and I'm going to put this over it. I'm going to use a ball peen hammer, and I'm going to go around and I'm going to bang on this and create kind of a lip around the hat. And let's see how that turns out here. Okay, so what I did is I took that piece of pipe that I had from earlier, and I put it here in the middle, and I welded it down to this plate. Then I took a smaller piece of pipe and I set it here now, and I threw a nut that I had laying around right here. So I'm going to go around this right now with my MIG welder and fill a lot of it in and play around. Then I'll come back with my angle grinder and I'll kind of shape it, to the top part of the hat. We'll see what happens, okay? So give me a few seconds, then I'll be right back. Okay, there's the hat, and I filled those pipes with a bunch of oddball nuts and bolts or whatever, take up room, and then I MIG welded like, a dome around it, like what you see here. So now I'm going to take that 4.5 inch angle grinder and I'm going to kind of clean it up like that. And we'll see what we got in a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is where we are right now, and I don't have the hat on there at all. It comes right off. But I did find an old wrench, a little one, laying around that I don't need anymore, and I cut it to make this. Well, what am I going to do with that? Well, I thought I would put it right here. Kind of like this. You know, like the sight on a rifle. You like the sight for this. A nice little touch. So let me MIG weld that on there, and I'll be right back, and then we'll kind of do some questions and wrap up episode 2. Be back. Okay, so the question now is, I was sitting around thinking, how am I going to put that hat, which is right there, onto our Skull Cowboy Gatling gun dude. And while I was goofing around, I came across my JB Weld because I dropped my torch holder and I busted the magnet. Now, I have these little magnets I have, and they fit in there fine. They're almost the same height and they'll work. So I thought, well, I can repair it easy with that. And I thought, hey, you know what, going from aluminum to steel, I'm going to try the JB Weld. I'm just trying different things, different techniques as we all go through this. And I discussed with you where I screwed up. Well, I screwed up because I dropped my torch holder, so I can repair it with those little round magnets you get out at Harbor Freight and some JB Weld. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to mix that up. I'll probably let the video run and I'll edit out some of it because it does get kind of boring. And then we'll also put that hat up on there, and that will probably be most of the project for today. Okay, so hold on just a sec. First thing I'll do is I'm going to repair that torch holder. So I focus in on this a little bit. Okay, I focused in on a piece of scrap cardboard in the JB Weld. I'm going to mix it and repair the torch holder first. You just need a little bit of each. It's almost like epoxy, you know. You got the hardener and you got the resin, so. Alright, that should be good. I'm going to leave them open because I'm going to mix up more for the hat. So I just stir this up like this. Prop this up, something here for you to see. See if you can see the bottom of that real good. Right there. Okay, so I'm just going to slop some in there and put the magnets in. Just like that, just slop it in there. All right, now. Alright, that's all there is to it, and I'm going to have to let that set. I don't know, till tomorrow, but I know it works because I put them in there. I tried it out, and then I used the JB Weld. Okay, back down to the mixing board. Let's mix up some more. Alright, some of this has gone bad. It's been sitting for a long time, so I busted open the little container, and I'm just trying to get out what is the good stuff, which it doesn't look like there's a whole lot, but hopefully enough to do our hat guy. I think we will. And the other stuff seems to be okay. Alright, let's mix all this up into a pile of goop. The rest of this stuff over here was all hard as a rock. We're getting close to it, so I'm not going to use it, but this other stuff, it's still pretty good. So I'm just spending some time mixing it together. Now you got to work quick, because I've got the quicker setting JB Weld. You can get longer setting stuff, but for whatever I was doing, you know, at the time. So now what I'm going to do, let me pan up here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt this and I'm going to coat the rim up here, because the hat will sit on here and there'll be plenty of JB Weld. It won't be a problem, but just so you can see it a little bit better, I'll tilt it down. There we go. Now you got a better view. Okay, so take the JB Weld. I can feel it starting to want to set up a little bit, Just going to smear it just like this. Front, outer rim of that piston. Kind of get a little bit everywhere here, right? And, just like this. You can, this stuff will sand. I mean, it'll sand, it'll grind. So, I mean, if you get a little sloppy, like I just did, it's not a worry. You can, you'll be able to fix it. I know when the hat sat in there, I could feel it grabbing here in the back, so I'm going to put some here. It's just a matter of playing around with this stuff. And just like this. Okay. This should be more than enough. I went ahead and used more than enough because these now are scrap right here. I'm going to throw it out because the container was shot anyway and the stuff was hard. So I have it on there. Now I'm going to set him back up and we'll put the hat on. Hold on. Okay, so there's that rim again. And I'm just going to set this up on there. And I'm going to kind of play around, get some kind of a little adjustment thing going here. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go look at it from the front. Now I'm going to walk around this. I mean, as I press on this, because it's setting fast, it's the faster setting JB Weld, I can feel it tacking up to where it's getting to where it doesn't want to move. Now I'm sure it takes a matter of 4 hours or 24 hours or something for it to fully cure, but it will set fast. So if you have a project, you might want the longer acting stuff, but I'm going to walk around this. I'm going to look at the rim. I'm going to make sure everything looks okay. Okay, now that looks pretty good. Let's get a face shot. Okay, so here's the front view. Looks pretty good. So we're kind of jazzed about how this turned out for the day. Let me go over and do a quick round of questions, and then we're going to conclude part 2 of the skull and making, you know, something artistic and playing around in the garage. Be right back. All right, everybody, questions, and here's our finished product for the day. We'll do a few more things to it, and we'll figure out how to, you know, conclude it. But got a little bit more to do. We'll go over that in the next video. It may be the last one on the project, but so far, it's turned out okay. I mean, not bad. I don't know what I'll use it for. It's just a matter of playing around, showing you new tools and me learning something new, which was carving in the aluminum. You know, I got to get more pistons. I don't have any more. I had this one here, but I broke this guy. I'll show you a close-up if I can. I broke his jaw. I got too close when I was cutting out the mouth, and well, it being aluminum cast or whatever, it snapped on me. I still might do something with it in relation to this project. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, I don't see a whole lot of questions at the minute. I think I answered most of them. I mean, in that last video. I haven't tried out the new cutters yet. I will on the next video. But scrap steel, piston will be thrown away anyway. It's, you know, burned out no good. You just cleaned it up. And you can make a fun little project. And you get out there with your kids, have some fun, you know, get them out in the shop. Make something with them. It's actually a lot of fun. I had a kid here in the neighborhood. They moved since. He come over once in a while with his dad on the weekend, and we took some rebar and we made like a cup holder. It's in another video, and you know, he got a real kick out of doing it. So it's all about having fun. Okay, I hope you keep following me. I hope you click subscribe and stay tuned. We will do, like I said, part 3, and we'll see how all this holds up, and I'll let you know about how the JB Weld held up and everything else looks good. Thank you, folks. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.